Knicks family, welcome back to the Knicks podcast. I'm here with Apollo Reed. Of course, I'm here with the big bro, Andre Jalil. It's been a minute since we've seen your face, man, but thank you for blessing us with your presence today. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for allowing me to be here with my presence. You know what I'm saying? Even though I miss so many podcasts and stuff like that.
There this
man.
guy
I'm
go.
grateful.
Listen, man,
grateful.
you part of
I'm
the family. You in the bloodline. You straight. Listen, you ain't got to worry about nothing. You know what I mean?
Bet.
You the big bro. You the big bro. I was looking to you for guidance. You know what I mean? I got you.
And I provided the guidance when I could.
You provided the guidance. You know what
I had the guidance to provide. That's what I learned.
Guidance to provide. The same way my man Josh Hart guided our Knicks to a nice little victory.
You think it was Josh Hart? Yes, it was Josh Hart.
Yeah, it was definitely Josh Hart. I keep hearing it was
Deuce.
Nah, Deuce was big. I mean, Deuce had big moments. I mean, let's talk about it. Deuce had some big moments last night. Oh, was it last? Yeah, last night. Mitch, great. Some big moments. Even Bogey off the bench had some big moments.
I love it.
But it's to me, man. The game ball goes to Josh Hart. You know what I mean? He was just making all the right plays. I think he had 13 points in the last quarter. You know what I mean? And just making the timely buckets and hitting threes in ways that we haven't seen him do in a long time with a lot of confidence. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you got to do it. Shout out to the chat, my man. RBL. What's good, my guy?
Popping already? Let me look.
Listen, man, we definitely got one up there. He said throw the ones up. We got that. That's one in the books. Now, of course, like you know, I said on Twitter yesterday. Hopefully, the story of this series isn't about Joel Embiid and him being injured, and you know, that's what they're gonna make it about. But to me, I don't think that's fair because him coming into the series, he was already going to be injured. Everybody knew he was going to be injured, and they still slated him as the guy that was going to take over this series. You know, all the guys on TNT, Shaq and Kenny and Charles Barkley talking about they don't got nobody for Embiid. So I mean, you know, and not to say that we had someone for Embiid, even though we technically did, because I think Mitchell Robinson held them to 2 of something. I forgot the number. I'll find it in a little bit. But Mitchell Robinson did a great job guarding Joel Embiid last night, and he's part of the reason why. You know, I think what was he, a plus 20? I believe he was a plus 20 last night. So plus 20. He was a plus 20. Yeah,
because when he got in there, it changed everything. They took Hartenstein out. They put him in there. It looked like it meant something to him.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he took, like you said, he took that challenge personally. You know,
I love it.
And you know, I know that's been your guy. Talk to me about Mitch and how you felt about Mitch.
When I looked, I saw that they had him coming off the bench. I was like, all right, he's just trying to maintain what they had going during the regular season, which I like, which I think is healthy. And you saw like the Knicks was down early, like they just couldn't get it going. They were missing shots. It just didn't look right. Like the dudes didn't look like it was working out for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back. I was dealing with something in the garage. So every break I would go to the garage. I came back. They had Mitchell Robinson on them. We were down 2.
Yeah.
I was like, see what I'm saying? They put Mitchell Robinson on that boy, and he was taking it to, because I get nervous for both of them, motherfuckers. I'm sorry, I get nervous for both of them. You know, what I didn't want to see is Joel Embiid hurt, and then we win, and they say we won because they didn't have Joel Embiid.
Right, exactly.
That's really what I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
But to see Mitchell Robinson take that challenge on like that, because you see he got the grown man body now. I would talk about that years ago.
Right.
How he looks small, and that he's small. He still don't got that man weight yet. And that dude got the weight now. Like, you can't just bully him around. He's still athletic, jumping up there, blocking shots. You saw that shot he blocked off, what's his name? Maxey.
Maxey, yeah.
Up there, blocked it and threw it on him for the out of bounds. That quick thinking, I was like, oh, this dude ready. He about ready.
Yep.
You know, I just like Mitchell Robinson is like really become. I think if he had more time, we'd be saying a lot more about him if he wasn't injured and out like as much as the season as he was, because he was supposed to miss the whole season.
Yeah,
but he showed last night why he's so valuable. He kind of makes Hartenstein look like, nah, you the guy off the bench. You know,
I think at that point it depends on the matchup, because I think
that's what it's about, and that's what the playoffs are about. It's about matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a big one. But let's say we win this series, and then Milwaukee wins that series, then we got to that's gonna be another matchup thing, and that's gonna be a big deal. But I think they're
Right.
gonna put OG on Giannis if Giannis
Yeah,
is
I
healthy.
think I think you put OG on Giannis, which and I do see in depending on the situation, Isaiah Hartenstein being more effective in those lineups because they kind of switch and they have Bobby Portis out there and he shoots threes a lot. Then you have what's the Brook Lopez out there, he shoots threes a lot. So you're gonna
Yeah,
have a lot of guys that are a little bit more mobile. So I can see in that series Isaiah probably being moved around a lot more because he can probably help out in those situations a little bit better. But when you got a guy like Embiid who's going to get most of his points in the paint, I think
yeah,
you got to have Mitchell Robinson in there, and he had a big game last night. Let's look at the numbers for Mitch. Mitch had my bad, 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 big free throws, 2 clutch free throws.
knocked him down.
Knocked him down, man. It's clear like he had ankle surgery. He wasn't just sitting at the house. Yeah, you can't run, but there's other things you can do. You know, as a basketball player, there's other things you can do to prepare for whatever moment that you'll be put in. And you know, they've been trying to hack a Mitch on him. I saw them do it the other. I think it was who was it? Brooklyn. Yeah, I think it was Brooklyn. They tried to hack a
Yeah,
Mitch on him. And that was the first time I saw that he was ready. He stepped up to the line. He didn't make every free throw, but he wasn't scared. And you know, he took some. I think he still ended up above 50% for the shots that they made him take in that situation. I could be wrong, but regardless, the confidence in it is that's what you want to see. But you know, stepping up, hitting 2 for 2 from the free throw line, grabbing 12 rebounds, 7 of them being offensive. You know, getting back to what he does, and that's the beauty of Mitchell Robinson is giving the second chance points, and that's what makes him so valuable is the fact that yeah, you might get a shot off, but just understand that he's going to be there to get that rebound. And on the other end, if we get a shot and we miss it, we're most likely going to get that shot back, especially if you got guys like Josh Hart helping them off the box out off the rebound as well. So second chance points is really what makes his team special, especially because that's what a lot of our guys do. You got, like I said, Josh Hart is a guard that's out there doing that. But yeah, going back to Mitch, 12 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 4 blocks. You know what I mean? Just being exactly where you need him to be at the right time for 8 points. And a plus 20 from the field, man. There's not much more you can ask Mitchell Robinson to do. It's becoming it's looking like he's getting his rhythm back, and this is the Mitch that's here to stay. And I think like I was saying earlier, the beauty of it is the fact that you can actually interchange these guys. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to in this series with Tibbs, and what he has done is he's making adjustments faster. And that's really all I've really been having an issue with Tibbs over the past few years, not this year. But you know, sometimes like, yeah, okay, the game to game adjustments are good, but I want to see some in-game adjustments. Something's not happening right there. I want to see, like, if you got to not play this guy, or if you have to, there's been times where he did not want to drop Julius from the rotation, not completely, but for a game because of this reason, or he didn't want to drop RJ from a rotation during specific games of the season because he just wanted to, keep the continuity, and but sometimes certain games call for different things. And he showed that tonight, having Isaiah out there and then just sticking with Mitch and just keeping Mitch out there and doing what he has to do. Tom
played a
Thibodeau,
bunch of minutes. What did it
yeah.
say? How many minutes he had?
Mitchell Robinson ended up having, let's double check that. He had 30 minutes, which is big, for Mitchell Robinson coming back, and he was limited to 20 minutes, I believe, and getting back in there, getting 30 minutes.
Right.
Isaiah only had 17 and 17 18 minutes out there. But
Right.
that's what you it's a chess match. The playoffs is a chess match. You got Nick Nurse, you got Tom Thibodeau out there. They're just playing chess, and
Right.
that's what we got to do. So another piece that he put out there is Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride ended up having 21 points. He was 5 for 7 from 3. Man, just coming in and lighting them things up, man. That's what you want to see at this point. Is the fact that he hasn't really had a lot of significant playoff rotation minutes in his past. And the first game you come out and you're basically the offensive savior in some ways. You know what I'm saying? That this team needed. Have hitting 5 for 7 from the 3 point line, 7 for 12 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. From the 3 point, did I say it right? 5 for 7 from the 3 point line and 2 for 2 from the free throw line.
Right.
And 4 steals. I mean, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 rebounds. Like I said, plus 37, the highest plus minus on the team. It's the kid. His value is just through the roof, man. Like, and for what you signed him for, that's a steal. That's a steal. And you know,
Definitely.
a lot of people were worried after we got rid of quickly and what we're gonna do with a backup role. And McBride just continues to tell everybody, like, chill out. I got it. Like, I'm good. Yeah,
Right,
y'all don't
right,
gotta worry about it. You know what I
right.
mean? And he constantly gives credit to Jalen for giving him advice and being in his ear and giving him the right guidance in certain situations. So you gotta give it up to him for that. So shout out to Deuce McBride. You got any thoughts? Tell me how you feel about Deuce, man, and what he's bringing.
Deuce, man, I'm like, I love his shot. I like that he got the high arch joint on it. I think
Mhm.
that he's like low key with it. He don't
Right.
go crazy. He's just doing his job. And he keep a low profile with it. He knocking down them jumpers. He's showing
Mhm.
that he could be a good backup point guard, which he is. And
Right.
he's solid. And he was the X factor for the Knicks in this game. Him, Josh not necessarily an X factor because he's a starter,
Right.
but for him to come off the bench. And what did they say? We outscored them. Their 76ers bench had 7. Our bench had 42. And
42.
it's almost like, one thing that what's that dude, the pretty dude with the hair that was on Jalen Brunson?
Oh,
Oubre.
Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, Oubre was like, they got starters as their backups, as their reserves. And that was always the thing. Even when the Knicks didn't do
Right.
well those years, we had like a better bench than we had starters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was I just see what RBL put. MB went 2 for 11 while being guarded by Mitchell.
Yeah. 2 for 11.
And
That's what it was 2 for something.
that
Thank you.
changed the game right there, boy.
Yeah.
That changed the
Mhm.
game. The other thing is Maxi, but to get back on Deuce, I just think it was lovely to see he had 22,
21. Yeah.
21 points
Yeah.
off the bench in the playoffs. That's a big deal. It might not be like that every night, but Jalen Brunson might get his typical 40.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of these dudes, all them dudes had negatives. They had, what was they? They plus minus was
I
negative
mean,
20.
the only positives on the team altogether that played were the
Mhm.
bench guys with Bogey, Mitch, and Miles and Deuce. That was it. Nobody else had. Jalen Brunson was a -3. DiVincenzo was a -23.
Yeah,
Isaiah
what you
Hart.
thought about DiVincenzo, man? He benched him like early,
I mean, when you're a shooter
and you ain't hitting.
and it's not hitting. I mean, not that he couldn't bring anything else to the team, but when someone else is out there, just the same reason why I didn't bring Hartenstein back in. You know what I mean? When somebody else is in there
Just
and
wasn't working.
they're just being productive, you keep them in. It's less about what you're doing right now and more about what this guy can bring us during this game. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what played into Dante and I getting a lot of minutes in the big time minutes, you know, because a lot of people are like, where's Dante? I know that people are asking, like, where's Dante? But he had 8 points, he was 3 for 10. And you don't have much margin for error in a game like this, especially when you're up by a certain amount of points and all of a sudden you're down. You know what I mean? You don't have a lot of margin for error to let's see if the shot starts falling. Like, nah, we don't got it like that.
Right.
And credit to coach once again. You know what I mean? We got to keep giving coach his credit for making an in-game adjustment and not allowing something like that to, mess up the flow of the game. And it's not always about how many shots you're making because, Dante was 3 for 10 and Bogey was 4 for 12. But while Bogey was in there, he was plus 23, plus 27. Dante was -23. So, he's completely on the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of how effective he was while he was on the floor. Now, plus minus can get really tricky and sticky with certain situations, but it's basically while you're on the floor how effective you were. And the coach looked at it and said, "This guy's he's hitting big shots at the right time. He's not shooting great the entire game, but at the right time, you're hitting the shots." It was some threes that he hit toward the end that we just needed, just timely buckets. And and I said it the other day, man. I forgot if he was either on this show or it was on the Knicks Nightcap. Shout out to anyone who came out to support the Knicks Nightcap show last Wednesday, which we'll be doing every Wednesday. But like I was saying, is Bogey, he has to be involved. He has to get going, whatever it is. And a lot of people said, like, the second scorer has to be Dante DiVincenzo. And I'm like, because I know Dante DiVincenzo primarily gets a lot of his buckets off of threes and dribble handoffs and catches in the corner. And a lot of his shots come from the flow of the offense. You know what I mean? It's not like we're going to Dante DiVincenzo. And that's not me taking anything away from Dante DiVincenzo. It's just what I'm saying is when you're talking about a scoring option, you're talking about someone who has the job of shouldering the load. So you're not going to shoulder the load of scoring on Dante DiVincenzo. He shoots a lot less pull-up jump shots than you think he does. You know what I mean? Most of his threes come off of, passes and assists from other guys. But Bogey has to be the guy when Jalen's not on the floor who has to get a bucket. You know what I mean? You're at that wing spot. You can get to the mid-range and hit the shot. You can do it in the post. You can get to the basket at a high level. So we need you to step up. And we need you to be effective. Because there's not many guys you can go to in the playoffs in these certain situations. We talked about how many minutes Precious or Alec weren't going to get. And as you can see, they didn't play a minute because, the coach is not going to go deeper than eight guys if he absolutely has to. But, that's the thing. Shout out to Bogey for doing what he had to do. What happened? Whoa. Since when was I out here by myself? Y'all wasn't gonna tell me I was here by myself.
Yeah. I'll wait for you to let me in.
My bad. I was
what's up? I was trying to find the podcast for the game one winners. I found her.
Oh, there you go. What's going on, Cuzzo? Talk to me, man. How you feeling?
Oh, man, I feel great, man. I was going around. I was talking to people, and I was just like, man.
It's like we got the win. We got the win. I was going around talking to people. Hey, what you think about that win?
I mean, prior to the game, people were like, who the Knicks playing? I was like, oh, Philly. They were like, oh, well, Knicks had a good run. I was like, what are y'all talking about? Like, we're number 2 in the East. Like, what do you mean we had a good run? So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna let the game happen and then let the results speak for itself. So we got the game 1, right? So we just got to get the next 3 and we out of here. Next round.
That's it. It's really that simple. Game 1 is very important, especially when you're at home.
Hold on, Cuzzo, what you think about the fake joint?
The fake joint.
Oh, you didn't want to put the real one on?
Nah, I ain't gonna do it's too much. When we win the series, I put the real joint on.
Gotcha.
Wow. When we win the series.
You know what I mean?
It'll be
I gotta look like a winner. Today I got the shades on, I ain't playing, and we here.
I can hear it. I can hear how real it is. It sounds good.
You hear that shit? Shit all real, boy. I walk around like this with this joint on.
Crazy.
Talking about having conversation with random people like, yo, you saw the Knicks game?
You saw the Knicks game?
You ain't seen that, right? It was good. How you? We pop this shit on live.
Anyway, so we talked about Mitch being one of the most important pieces to last night's victory. Of course, we talked about Josh Hart. You got to talk about Josh. Miles McBride. Tell me how you feel about those guys. Especially the bench. Let's just talk about the three guys, the only 3 guys that came off the bench. And that was
play. He run a tight little squad. He run nobody
tight shit, bro. So between Miles McBride, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Mitchell Robinson, what did you see when it came to how they affected the game once they were implanted into the game, and what changed?
Miles McBride. Like, come on. Like, I don't think they knew his name, but he came out. He was like, yo, you're going to know tonight.
Facts.
Mitch, he was very aggressive. There was one play that comes to mind where he got a board, and I think he was challenged by Embiid, and he, like, ripped it away from Embiid, fell on the floor, and then it was like a jump ball after that.
Which was crazy. It shouldn't have been a jump ball.
It shouldn't have been. But whatever. But I love the aggression. I love the wherewithal to, like, listen, all right. There's only one guy who's really going to compete with me to get this board, and it's going to be Embiid. So let me do what I got to do to hold it down. So I love that. How many blocks did he end up with?
4.
4 blocks, man. Come on. Impact players right there.
Come on, man. You know the beauty of this victory. Hopefully it doesn't stay like this. But the beauty of this victory is we haven't even mentioned Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
That's the thing about this team. Now we can look at the numbers a little bit more here. Jalen didn't shoot well. He shot 8 of 26 from the field. He was 1 for 6 from 3.
He was defended well though.
He was defended well. I mean, you put
had to
Batum on him. You put Kelly Oubre on him. But
Kelly Oubre was doing his thing on him.
Yeah, but the beauty of it is now, all right, you put your best defenders on Jalen Brunson and you still lose.
Right. It's like, what do we do? We got to get somebody out there on the drive.
Right. What is the adjustment now? So you're gonna keep those same guys in there and have Deuce. You know, let's lock up Deuce now. Let's put him on bogey. Like, what are you gonna do? And then my thing is that there's no way Jalen's gonna shoot like this again.
That's what I've been telling. I've been telling everybody that. They were like, "Oh, it was a close one." I was just like, "Yeah, but Jalen had an off night. He's not. You think he's gonna come back in game 2 and shoot
Jalen
like that?
had an off night. DiVincenzo had an off night.
Yep.
Hartenstein didn't look really well. They had negatives. Look, these dudes is like negatives, and even OG had a negative. They said this is the first time he had a negative.
This is the first time as a Knick that he had a negative on a
negative plus minus.
First time,
you know, and I feel like this is the first game of the playoffs. I think these brothers is like, like the butterflies, if you want to call it that. Absolutely. I think all of that is out. The 76ers do have more playoff experience. Not for nothing.
I mean, they do. They definitely do. I mean, and the thing about it is, to me, when you build your team around a guy like Embiid, like it's scary because what tends to happen is you have to go to him, and everyone knows you're going to go to him. Right. And it's different from guarding a Jalen Brunson, right? When you got a Jalen Brunson and you lock him up, you're locking him up on the perimeter. So essentially, you're still opening up other spots on the floor to be effective that are higher percentage shots. When you're Joel Embiid and you're clogging up the paint, the only shots you're opening are 3-point shots. Perimeter. Now, I don't know a team that's going to shoot high percent from 3 all game long. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Tom Thibodeau on the way is like, okay, cool. We're going to make sure you keep taking you stick with that game plan, because we trust your 3-point shooters when it comes to how efficient they're going to be. Go ahead. I want you to beat us that way. I would rather you have those guys shoot the threes and beat us that way. Now, Joel Embiid still did his thing. He got hurt. Now, like Dre said, you hate to see him get hurt and let that be the story of this series. But, at the end of the day, it's part of the game. We don't have a whole all-star. An entire all-star is not there. Like, I don't want to hear these excuses about Joel Embiid. He was hurt. I don't want to hear because that's what you're going to hear. Yeah. Oh, you only won because, all right, well, so what about the fact that we're missing an entire all-NBA player?
Yo, preach, man.
Like, to me, it doesn't, the goalposts steadily get shifted when it comes to the conversation revolving the Knicks.
Right.
And then Kelly Oubre, it was hilarious. Kelly Oubre starts talking about, what did he say? Yeah, I can't wait to play in a garden, and they got a bunch of people sitting in celebrity row who are not going to watch the game, and I'm like, that's how you know you don't know what you're talking about. These guys are Knicks fans. Like,
these dudes are into it.
Yeah, Ben Stiller is a Knicks fan. You know what I mean? Right. Like, Tracy Morgan is a Knicks fan.
Tracy Morgan, are you kidding? Yeah.
Chris Rock is a Knicks fan. Like, you're bugging. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are not just there. Even if they gave them the seats for free just to show the hell up, they're fans. They are real fans. So, I mean, it's like RBS says, the real test is the second round. And that's what I'm looking forward to, because more than likely we're going to have to play the Bucks. I mean, that's the winner of that series is whoever we have to play. And, I don't want to look past the Sixers. They're not done. They still have an MVP caliber player on their team. I also talked about on the Knicks nightcap with Phil and Eru and Willie. Yeah, appreciate that. I talked about how effective a guy like, they said, who do you think on the Sixers is going to be a guy that we're going to have to deal with that you really don't expect? And immediately I was like, Kyle Lowry, because he knows how to make the right plays at the right time.
Yeah,
He's a
boy was
pest.
doing this thing.
Very annoying.
He's a pest. He hits the shots at the right time. He's not going to have 20, 10, 5, but he's going to be exactly where you need him to be and make the right plays and the hustle plays and on defense and stuff like that. So, you know, you can't come in and just think that, all right, this guy's hurt, we're good. No, like they got vets. They got vets over there. We saw Kyle Lowry and how he helped us. I mean, well, he helped get us out of there last year in the offseason, in the postseason with Miami. You know what I mean? So that's not a guy that you want to slack on when it comes to just what he can bring to an organization that's trying to win, man. That organization's been trying to win with Joel Embiid for so long.
Yep.
And it would really hurt that organization if they lose in the first round, whether he's hurt or not. You know what I'm saying? I think that they are going to try whatever they can to win this series, because I think a lot is riding on the health of Joel Embiid and what they should do going forward. Like, yeah, of course he's under contract, but now do you start taking phone calls? You know what I mean? Like, do you start looking elsewhere? Because this guy, he goes up for a dunk and he falls on his knee, and it's like now he's on his back. And speaking of that,
I thought he was done. With his eyes rolling in the back of his head like that unevenly?
Yeah, his eyes wasn't rolling. Only one eye was blinking.
Yeah, he kept doing that. It was like a few times that night he kept going blinking. It was like one eye blinking.
I was like, yo, what is going on, bro? And
I thought people were going to say he was a clone.
Bro, I'm like, that's the only time where stuff like that starts to happen. And I'm like, yo, like, what really be going on? Because dude laid there and he's just sitting there and he's like,
yeah, one eye's blinking and one eye rolling in the back of his head. It's just like, yo, what's...
I'm like, did this eye get dry at all? Like, what's I know you gotta add a little bit of moisture to that eye.
I thought he was gonna cry. I thought he was finished when he was laying there like that.
Yeah.
I thought he was finished.
Yeah.
Then he got up. I was like, all right, because they was like trying to walk. He was like, nah, I got this.
He's like, I got it. And once I saw him walk off on his own, I said he'll be back.
He's not gonna make it through the series.
I don't think so.
They say he's questionable.
If he make it through the series, he ain't making it through the playoffs. There's just no way.
Yeah. He's questionable for the second game already.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah,
he's questionable. So
he's not making it to the second round. I mean, because he's not making it past us, but
not past, right.
But he's not gonna make it through the series.
I don't think, especially because we're a physical team, bro. Even if we don't bang you up, we're gonna make sure we're putting enough pressure on you to just make you think twice. Yeah. Mitchell Robinson being in there, not jumping, staying grounded, keeping your hands up. That's what I need you to do, because that's the only thing that's been stopping you from being effective all these years. And of course, like Dre said earlier, a little bit of his man body kind of finally came in there. You know what I mean? He's looking like an adult.
He got that man weight. Remember I was talking about that, Ricky?
Yeah. It's about
like
time.
He wants to know how to carry.
It's a big deal. He got a man body. Dudes be scared going in there at the basket. He's down there.
And it's not just the shot blocking now. Before it was just the shot blocking. Now it's just his defensive presence. You know what I mean? And knowing that even if you do have a shot on the inside, like I still got to worry about it. You know, Joel Embiid tried plenty of post moves and pivots and head fakes and all kinds of stuff, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. The only other thing that didn't bother me. I can't say bother because that's the wrong word. I did want to see OG get a little bit more what's the word?
Offensive touches?
Not necessarily. I mean, because I know in this case we're not just gonna start going to him offensively. But just a little bit more aggression with those shots. You know what I mean? And don't hunt shots because that's not who you are. But you know, I don't want to see them actively forcing everyone else to beat us outside of Jalen Brunson, because I mean that's your best bet. No matter what your team is, your best bet is to get the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands. That's like you have to do that. But outside of that, OG just everything he brings to the court is it's the right timing and just knowing how to be at the right spot and helping out in the passing lanes. But like you said, he was a -5 today, but a lot of the starting unit, they didn't do well because it was just a lot for him to figure out. You know what I mean? But talk to me about what you guys saw from OG, because, you know, we're going to need OG to be effective. Like everyone was saying when everyone was out, Um, I, I'll say, I know Randall's hurt. I know OG's hurt. I know Mitch is hurt. But the two main guys I needed to get back before I saw Julius back was Mitch and OG, and especially OG because I don't think this team goes pretty far without OG. You know what I mean? Especially if you run into the Celtics. But
I think OG is that one guy we can't afford to lose.
Right. Good. Now keep elaborate. Keep going on OG.
So OG, like he's the defensive player. I feel like if he does nothing on the offensive end, he's that guy who gets into the lanes. He knocks the ball down. Like the stuff that doesn't show up on the stats. Like if he swats the ball away, if he's getting in there and making it hard or making people switch or forcing a turnover, even if he's not getting the stat as the turnover for the turnover. I just think OG is that guy when it comes to it. And those putback dunks, like I said, I'm a big fan of putting back those dunks and not layups. Right. You know what I mean? Just the higher efficiency when it comes to that. I just think it's a big deal. I just think that the first game, we didn't play our best basketball, and we still pulled it off. I think that's a big deal with him being involved. I think him having a -3, that was the first one. I don't see that happening often. I think with the matchup with the 76ers, I really want to see Embiid being there, but I don't feel like they have a chance without Embiid in the against the Knicks. I just think that the Knicks are dogs. I think that OG is a big dog when it comes to like what we bring out there, even if he's not scoring. Because if you have the next game, if Jalen Brunson scores what he already scored, what do he have? 21? 22 points. You know what I'm saying? On a bad night.
Yeah.
Right.
And 22 points. You know what I'm saying? And I think if DiVincenzo, he gets back to his normal self, there's just like a lot of stuff that, you know, the Knicks can offer on a night-to-night basis. I also don't think that Josh Hart is going to have a night like he had every night. But it was nice because he was 2-9 earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started knocking down that 1-3 I thought he was going to miss where it looked like he was trying to hunt for that foul.
Yeah, that
was legs kicked in the air, and he still made that, and he was screaming because he was going like this, like he was like, where's the foul?"
Right.
Then it went in, and he was like, "Yeah," like he was all excited, and I was like, "Yo, this boy, that's just one of those nights where you start seeing that, and you be like, yo, we gonna win this." It's just like when you start seeing the magic happen, it's just like, yo, we got this one. Because I felt like Kyle Lowry was gonna do that for the 76ers, and I started to get nervous.
Yeah,
like Kyle Lowry always coming
in there.
Yeah, he started knocking down shots. I was like, yo, y'all got to get on him because he the one that's going to make it where he's like, all right, I'm going to knock this down and I'm going to get in there. And he's just like you said, he's annoying. But Mitchell Robinson getting on him, I think is a big – and what I love about what Mitchell Robinson is doing, you can say what you want, but like even if he's not super effective or stopping Embiid, I think he was the reason for that injury. Because he's making Embiid go super hard. He throwing it off the backboard. You jumping it. Now you're doing a lot.
Right.
But Mitchell Robinson is making him work.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. He's like, oh, because he ain't have nowhere else to go. That was the only thing he could do was throw it off the backboard and try to finish. And then he landed funny on that bad knee because when you trying to do your thing, you ain't thinking about which leg you landing on.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I always said as someone who's had a plethora of knee injuries, when you're playing ball and you jump in and you're landing, you don't throw all that pressure on one leg. I've always learned that, and that's the same thing. I actually watched the video on Derrick Rose a long time ago, and the guy was saying that a lot of the times he has a lot of momentum going up, and then he lands it all on one leg. And that's one thing Derrick Rose did a lot. He would land, if you watch a lot of his old footage, he would do these crazy athletic dunks, and he would land on one leg and then drop the other leg down. And after a while, like it's not about. People think you really injure a lot of your muscles off the takeoff. You injure it a lot off the descent back to the ground and catching, bracing your body weight, especially when you're a big guy and you're bracing your body weight. You don't drop all that weight on one leg. You know what I'm saying? So
you remember that old Dominique Wilkins commercial? It was an old commercial, and they gave him I think was it a shoe he was pushing. Something I think he said it was like a sneaker. He was like, because it ain't the takeoffs that I worry about. He was like, it's the landings that hurt.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And it's like that's one of those things. Like if you got to be conscious about, but like what I like about what happened again, you're not thinking about landing on both feet when you trying to do a little fancy play and you get
Right.
when you hanging on to the rim a little longer, one leg is going to extend longer than the other.
Right.
Unless you do a double hand jam, you can land on both feet. But if you got one arm like this, one leg is going to hang lower than the other. Boom, he landed on a bad knee. He shouldn't. He kind of should have hung it up for the rest of the season. But it's the playoffs. You got to get out there.
Yeah.
No, they definitely need him. But what he gonna do? He gonna keep hurting that knee. It's gonna get worse.
Yeah,
you just fixed it, if you call it that. It just healed up, and it's just like I want him to go ahead, play for your squad.
He's a competitor. He is somebody who wants to play. Like I keep hearing people say, "Oh, why isn't Tibbs resting Jalen?" Jalen wants to play. Like he's not asking for rest. He's not trying to save himself for the playoffs. Like he wants to play. Like practice is what makes you better. So if you're in real game situations, like you're going to stay on it, right? So I feel like even the time between the last game and game one was too much time. So I think that is kind of what hurt his gameplay. I'm speculating, of course. I don't know.
But, Jalen?
Jalen, yeah,
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
And so I think that's what affected his game one. But I think he got it out of his system. I think game two is definitely going to be something special. With Embiid, when he came back, like he wasn't even jumping like that. Like he didn't.
No. He wasn't doing nothing.
I think they said that was his first dunk.
Exactly. Back. And that's I think that's the reason why it didn't go too well. Like I think he forgot that he was hurt because he had a whole game where he didn't like really feel it.
Yeah, because Mitchell got him feeling like, oh, I gotta go. There you go. Go ahead.
You want to make a statement? Yeah, he's a competitor.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from him. But to answer your question about OG, I think he was a little, for the lack of a better term, sheltered in the fact that
passive.
Passive, I think that's a better word, because the people who usually are out there scoring and doing their thing, they couldn't find their game. So I don't think it was in his, game plan to be like, all right, let me take over. So I think he was just like waiting for them to get into their stride so that he could do his thing. So again, when we see game two come and Jalen is playing like Jalen does, you're going to see OG come out and he's going to start doing what he does, because Jalen is going to be able to set him up to do that. Defensively, I don't know what would change in that play, because I think he's more of a defensive player than anything. Right. So I think that should have been turned up, to 10, knowing that this is game one, you're at home, and you got to make a statement. So I don't know. We'll see the adjustments. We'll see how everything looks going into game two. I love that Josh Hart took those last 2-3 points, because they were letting him shoot. Like they were straight up.
Yeah, if they give it now, you got to step up and take them shots.
And I think that's what he was yelling at. I don't think he was yelling at the refs so much as, "Oh, you're not going to guard me."
That's what he said after that. He was like, "Y'all gonna give me them shots? All right,
knock them down." So I love that. I love the Garden was crazy.
Garden
was losing it,
and that's the thing.
They had when they trying to burn Embiid's jersey. I'm like, y'all always get stupid.
Yeah. It's too much. We don't. Anybody who takes part of that kind of shit, like it's corny to me at this point. Especially like it started with the LeBron thing. That was in 2010, y'all. It's 14 years ago.
And those were LeBron fans.
Yeah, and they were LeBron fans doing that. Like we're not even Embiid fans. Y'all. So you mean to tell me as a Knicks fan you wouldn't bought an Embiid jersey?
Right. Who had that jersey?
Yeah. Like what are y'all doing? So anyway, that's just it's just real corny to me, and that's that's whatever. But couple key battles that we definitely wanted. They mentioned. Dre, you did mention earlier the bench points. We outscored them 42-7.
Not even close.
Our fast breaks 27-11, and second chance points 26-8, and that's like we were saying earlier with Mitch. And those second chance points and the offensive rebounds, like it's very hard to beat a team when the disparity in the rebound, I think it was 21. What is it? How many rebounds did we have? We had 55 and they had 33, 22 rebounds. You're not going to win a game of basketball when you're being out rebounded by 22 rebounds. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? So I think personally, just the makeup of this team, and everyone was going to, Now I understand. You know, I was talking to Phil. Shout out to Phil Porto. Shout out to my guys over at Morning Brew Crew Sports. I understand why he was worried about the Sixers, but the reason why I wasn't worried about the Sixers was how we matched up with them. I know what they are and the makeup of the roster, you know what I mean, and how they're built, but just how we match up with them has always worked out in our favor. Now, there was one game this year, I think the second or last time we played them. They came in and they had all the answers. They had all the right answers. And personally, I think that was the reason why when we came back, I think it was it? I think we played in back-to-back games. Or it was like they played us, and then there was another game, and then we played them again. Like we came in there and we dragged them all over the floor because it's just we knew who we are. We know the culture that we have and the culture we've built. And I firmly believe that this series might go to 5 max in the Knicks' favor. And that's not just me being a Knicks fan. It's just from the matchups.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Joel Embiid not being 100%. He's damn near 75%. It's the fact that we basically beat the hell out of y'all last night, and Jalen Brunson was 8-26. That's just not something that you're gonna see. You're not gonna see Dante DiVincenzo shooting the way he shot, especially when things are going. Isaiah Hartenstein, like I think they got lucky with so much, and we still rebounded and did everything we had to do.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. I think that now they will make adjustments. Say that again, cuz.
We're not gonna talk about that though. We're just gonna talk about how we got lucky.
Yeah, of course.
I want them to keep talking like that.
Like I just don't understand. Like, all right, so there used to be a period of time where we did not have a roster, right? We finished with 50 wins this season.
50.
Can we get a little bit of credit for that? Like we got lucky 50 times?
Come on.
I don't understand it.
That's why when I hear these guys on TNT, and it's clear, like Stephen A. Smith, I think it was last week or the week before. He was talking about the Knicks team, and he's just saying that, and then you got Grimes out there, and I'm like, bro, you're a Knicks fan, and you don't know Grimes isn't a Knick anymore. And this is the shit that I'm talking about. Like these guys aren't watching the game, and even Kendrick Perkins said it. Yeah, even Kendrick Perkins was talking about it because they asked Kendrick. They said, "Listen, like, well, how do you feel about these guys saying this and that?" And he said they clearly don't watch the games.
Right?
They don't watch the games. And he wasn't trying to disrespect them. He's like, "Listen, they're too busy to watch the games. They literally are too busy. Like these guys,
it's their job, though.
It's their job.
They have somebody watching for them. They watch.
They have someone to watch the games and report back to them. They're reading notes. They're not actually sitting there watching. And then, of course, Shaq's response is, which was corny as hell. Can a non-Hall of Famer talk about a Hall of Famer? It's like, all right.
Can a non-Hall of Famer talk about what?
A Hall of Famer. And it's like, Shaq, did you watch the game? Do you know what you're talking about? That's it. Because if you're sitting here saying that you don't understand why Jalen Brunson is this or that or whatever, there's no way you have that opinion if you're watching the game.
Yeah.
There's no possible way.
But look at the stat line. Look at the stat line. Like this guy is, and like there was. I think that you posted something like this. There was like a media collage where everyone was saying, "Oh, Jalen Brunson is not going to do much for the Knicks, and he's a 1A and this and that." You think Jalen was just like, "Oh, well, I guess that's it." No. He played his game. My man, he took a franchise that kept saying that would never win, and he took them, and he's helping them win games.
Yep.
Like, when is it going to be enough? We came in second. Like, I don't know if I can say this enough. We finished second in the Eastern Conference, just behind the Celtics, who's playing out of control.
Yeah.
Like, we're right after them.
Yep.
And we still don't get no love.
And you're being led by a guy, and that's the thing I love about Jalen is he never complains. I mean, he'll complain to a ref every now and then. Yeah. But in terms of not getting the recognition, he doesn't complain about that shit, bro.
Not at all.
He's fine with it. I think he loves the fact that he doesn't get certain recognition from guys because, it gives him that chip on his shoulder. Like he has the biggest chip on his shoulder, bro. I've never seen anybody with a chip that big because he everything. Like, for example, if you think him not being selected for the Olympic team, it doesn't bother him, like, come on. At this point, like, and I get it. I get it. Like these guys, you knew who the team was gonna be because they wanted to. It was KD's it might be KD's last time. Steph, LeBron, all of these guys. So of course you want to put all the guys. You want to put the dream team together. And Jalen Brunson was left out of that, and it's okay. That's fine. Like I completely understand it. There is also a side to it where they have enough scorers on that team. So I mean, I'm not too upset about that. I would have liked to see him get the recognition, but let's be honest, the role that he would have had,
it wouldn't have done anything.
It wouldn't have been worth it. You would have had him out there for a couple minutes just for him to be the scorer, and then that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? And I don't want to see Jalen, in that role, especially now when he's on a high roll, especially if you have hopefully a late run into the postseason. You don't want to see Jalen Brunson out there just a couple weeks later. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to see him out there trying to, get his legs back and all that. Nah, I need him to get some rest. So, but I do think that he's one of those guys that he doesn't say anything, but he'll internalize it, and he's just like, all right, I'm just gonna prove you wrong. Yeah. And that's just who he is as a person.
I love that.
Yeah. So you can't ask for much more. You can't ask for much more. So I mean, there's not much else we can add to it. We can put the stats up here once more. Let's just run through it real quick for the other guys that we didn't really talk about. Isaiah Hartenstein, 6 points, 3 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. These guys are hitting their free throws, man. You got to shout out these guys for that.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, these boys knocking them joints down.
Yeah, like, man. That's that. I'm proud of these guys for doing that. Especially if you're not doing a lot of other things, just get to the free throw line and knock them down. So yeah, he finished 1 for 4 from the line, from the field actually. Bojan, I think we talked about Bojan. He's 4-12 from the field, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, and 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. Like I said, we're gonna need Boggs to continue to get back in rhythm because he is, to me, he's not the second best player on the team, but he's the second most reliable scoring option outside of Jalen Brunson, in my opinion. I could be wrong.
Who's this, Bojan?
Bojan, yeah.
He's a shooter.
Yeah. And
I like Bojan for his big body, man. He was backing dudes down. Like he plays ball.
Yeah, he's a bully at his size. He still plays that old school wing style of play, and a lot of the skinnier wings at a new age really can't deal with that. So he can take advantage of that, you know what I mean? And that's what I do like about Boggs. But I want to see him to stay a little bit more consistent. Let's keep getting him the ball, and I think that's the plan, is to keep him going, because he can give you a lot when he's actually out there. And he's playing well. Dante DiVincenzo, 8 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Block a steal, 2 of 5 from the 3-point line, 3 of 10 from the field. Hopefully we can get him, more acclimated, get him his head back into it. It's not like he was playing a bad game. He just shot bad. A lot of these guys, even when they shoot bad, they don't play bad games. Same thing with Brunson, 8 of 26. He did not play bad. He just shot bad. He still gave you seven assists and 7 rebounds at 6'4". You know what I'm saying? 5 turnovers is something that I know he's very upset about, but this is Jalen Brunson. I'm not concerned. I'm sure that he'll get back into rhythm tomorrow when we see these guys. That's just, to me, is the most important thing, is to get those 2 at home, not to rest and have, so you can relax, which these guys don't do. Which is another reason why I think they're going to go very far in the postseason, even despite not having Julius. I'm not saying we're going to win the championship, but I think we're going to be a hard team to beat, because we game in, game out, we do exactly what we need to do. Yeah. And that's just all you need a team to do night in and night out. When you got a Tom Thibodeau led team, it's just, that's all he asks. That's all he asks from you guys, is just to come out and play your heart out. Deuce McBride playing the way he does.
Keep it going.
You gotta keep it going. You gotta keep it going. Any final words you guys got before we get up out of here?
I'm just liking the way our odds are looking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to it. Because first round they counting us out. They act like you said, Ricky. They acting like we got the number 2 seed by accident, like just by luck you get the number 2 seed.
Right.
We lost some games that we should have won, and we still got the number 2 seed, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We dealt with injuries, and we still got the number 2 seed.
Right.
If we had a healthy squad with a healthy Julius, we'd have been like right behind.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's like a lot of games with no injured on and a newbie without Julius.
Right.
So I talked to some guys last night. We were watching a Haney fight. So it was like 2 Lakers fans, and it's like seemed like everybody else there was Knicks fans.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying, what were they saying that about the Knicks? They talk about how everybody jump out the window. We win one game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But they were saying that Julius is going to be shipped out. They saying he out of there.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And I was like, that's Tibbs' guy.
How do y'all feel about that? Like, what do you? Let's think about that. What do you think?
It depends on how these playoffs go. Because at the end of the day, I think it could be a blessing in disguise that he's not there.
Right.
Because he typically plays very poorly in the playoffs. That's been his biggest thing against Julius, is that he plays poorly in the playoffs. Not saying that that's how it would have been, because it was looking really good this year. He was looking really good. Him and Brunson together for a full year.
Right.
I think that it was looking real nice. I don't buy into the whole thing that without him we're fine. But with him, I wanted to see them 3 playing, OG, Julius, and Brunson be in there. And then having the back there and having the centers we have. I'm like really looking forward to this whole thing being like like a dynasty looking kind of a thing. Not to say Julius is dynasty worthy, but I've been saying he's not a number 1 option, but now we know it's Brunson's team. But these double teams on Brunson wouldn't be happening if we had Julius on the floor. That's what I was saying about.
I mean, and just to add on to that, saying that Julius Randle is a second is not a number 1 option is less of a disrespectful remark than people try to take it as. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I hate the guy. It's just that playing style wise, you got to have someone who. I don't know how to explain it, but saying a Jalen, like that's literally exactly the kind of guy you can have when Julius Randle is your second best player. You know what I mean?
Well, let me see if I can add on to that, because Jalen keeps the ball moving, where Julius slows the ball down.
Yeah,
right?
Stops it.
So in clutch situations, Julius can do that, but you want Brunson to have the ball in clutch situations.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people, they sense that, and that's why they say, "Oh, we're good without Julius." But I don't believe it. Like they have been hating on Julius since the second season he was with the Knicks, and I don't know why, because he stepped his game up to an elite level where he was an all-star.
Right.
Several seasons. Yeah. So I think people just don't understand the value that he has, because when he's in game mode, like he's pushing people around. Like nobody's matching up with him.
Right.
Like in situations, I think the only people in the league that could really match up with him is probably like LeBron. Like I think he likes going at those guys, but LeBron can handle it. Like he's been there. Like
Mm-hmm.
So there's not many people that can match up with Julius like that. I think that's why we go so hard with Miami, because you got another player like Butler who has like that same mindset. He doesn't feel like anybody is better than him, so he's gonna keep going.
Right.
Julius has that. Jalen has it too, but the way his gameplay is, it looks a little bit better because it's constant movement. It's not slowing down. It's not ISO. It's just different. I think with both of them there, defensive teams, they would have a lot to handle.
Right.
And I think without him there is a hole.
The other thing
Yeah.
What do you think about this? That I'm hearing is what makes him expendable is Josh Hart now. Because Josh Hart is playing like small forward, power forward, right? Sometimes like shooting guard, like on the defensive end. It seems like he's like filling in all of those voids that Julius can. He's a better rebounder than Julius.
Yeah.
Julius is like, I guess you could say like a poor rebounder for his position, but I don't want to say he's a real standard.
I don't think he looks for rebounds. So Josh
Julius,
Hart looks for rebounds.
Like Josh Hart is going everywhere to get those rebounds.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say Julius is a bad rebounder because he averages.
He's an average. Yeah, I think he's average.
No, he's not even that. He's not even standard. He's not. He's actually above average as a power forward. He averages double digit rebounds as a power forward. So I mean,
which he should because of his position, right? But
right,
when you
but
look
not
at
a lot of
somebody
guys,
like Josh Hart,
right?
Josh Hart was jumping in there, filling in for the power forward position some nights and grabbing crazy rebounds. And they say he's like the best rebounder after the centers.
He's the best.
You know what I mean?
He's the best rebounding guard in the league. Yeah,
in the league, right? Yeah. So he's looking for that, and I'm not saying that he replaces what he doesn't score like Julius scores. He's not averaging a double every night like Julius does, whatever the case. Because even on a bad night, Julius is gonna average a double.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like that. You know what I'm saying?
The thing about Hart is, I mean, he
got heart.
I just said it right, exactly. And it's different when you're playing with your head versus playing with your heart. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the difference that you see when you compare anyone to Josh Hart. Honestly, it's not just Julius. Just a lot of these guys. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys aren't going in there and jumping through 4 or 5 people to grab a rebound. You're not going to see that all the time. But that's what separates Josh. And I always say he's my favorite Knick, man. You need at least one of those guys on your roster if you want to win. Because you got one guy who's always going to just get into the paint, take tough shots, make the right read. When he doesn't have a jump shot, he's going to pass it to the right guy. And on defense, just sacrificing your body and being there, diving on the floor. Like, he's our Dennis Rodman. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what you need. You need one of those guys every single time. And it doesn't matter the makeup of your team, because if you have a guy like that, and even it's kind of like a Robert Horry. You know what I mean? Robert Horry was that kind of guy. He was never a superstar, never the best guy on the team, but he hustled. He took the tough shots. Yep. He made those tough plays because he understood his role. And there's something about a guy that actually understands his role and he lives his role. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys try to outlive their role. They try to step out of their own box, and that's kind of what puts them into the positions that they have, where they're not allowed to be as effective as they can be because they're trying to be a player that they're not. But when it comes to when it comes to Julius, I don't necessarily know how far we can make it without Julius. I don't know. I'll say this. I don't think they're going to try to trade Julius, but I do think they'll be listening to calls. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure at this point, as an organization, you have to. And I don't think that's a bad thing. That's another thing about it. As an organization, it's a business. You got to listen to phone calls. But I do think those phone calls were just straight up like, I don't know about that before. Now it's kind of like, well, what else? What are you calling me for? Let me hear it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they're listening, but I don't feel like they're looking to get rid of him now because of how successful this team is, because actually they don't know how successful this team is going to be. Exactly. If we're being 100% honest, are we winning a championship this year? If everything falls right, possibly. We've beaten every single team in the league except for OKC. OKC is the only other team. And unfortunately, there's somebody we can play in the playoff. So in the finals. So, but regardless, like, I don't think we can't beat anyone we'd run into, but I do think we need a little bit more offensive. Like, the game would go a lot different if we're playing against the Celtics than it did last night, because there's too many guys that you can't. Embiid's hurt, cool. Now you got Jason Tatum, you got Jaylen Brown, you got Porzingis. Like, it's a little bit of a different dynamic, and you might not survive an 8 of 26 shooting game from Jalen Brunson. You know what I'm saying? So things do change. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that we don't need Julius. You know what I mean? That would be ignorant as hell to say. But if there isn't a Julius, I guarantee they're gonna bring someone in that's going to be able to bring you something of that value.
Yeah.
Because the point is there's still something we need.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it boils down to. Yes. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't like this team, and I love this team. I love this roster. But I don't think this is a championship winning roster just yet. Because I do think there's another piece missing. Would that piece be Julius Randle? I don't know, because I haven't seen this roster playing at this level with Julius Randle yet. We saw it in January all the way up to February before he got hurt. But that was a different team than this team. Like, they were running off of a lot of good energy. I think at that point you got OG coming in there playing defense, and dudes not necessarily needing the ball. You give Jalen and Julius some more space. So I think a lot of the winning that came right after the OG trade before Randle got hurt had a lot to do with just continuity. But I think this is a different team. I think cultural wise, there's just a style of play that's been a lot different with this roster as of recent, that I'm not sure how Julius Randle fits in this, because I haven't seen him play this style of basketball where we're just swinging the ball around, you know what I mean, and the ball's not stopping. So I got to see that before I can make the judgment that Julius isn't the guy that we need for this team. But at the end of the day, you're either going to bring Julius back, or there's going to be someone else of that ilk that needs to be there in order for us to get to the next level. And I think that's what the front office is focused on. They're focused on getting us to that next level. So if that's getting Julius healthy, or if that's finding whoever we can make a move for to do that. We got enough number one picks to make a lot of things happen that even the Julius Randle trade might not even be necessary.
I heard that KD might be an option.
I'm good. As much as I love KD. All right. Let me wisely answer this.
There you go. Take your time. You don't got to, say the first.
That was emotional. It was emotional as hell. It was emotional as hell. So,
but before you articulate your thoughts, when I first heard that, I was like, nah, no thanks. But right. Then, like, the more I thought about it,
right. I
was like, no. You know what? And I didn't think it was possible, because he said, "Oh, the Knicks aren't cool." But I saw an interview where he was saying, "Nah, KD is not it, you guys." Well, maybe not. But
you saw the interview where he apologized, right?
He didn't apologize. He kind of explained why he said what he said, and it made sense. So I was like, "All right, I'll give you that pass." And so, all right, so go ahead. What do you think?
So the problem I have with KD at this point is not the player, right? We're not talking about the talent and skill, because if we're just talking about give me KD and his talent and leave all that other shit aside, then we're taking KD. You know what I'm saying? But all of the other shit is kind of what makes KD who he is as well. Dealing with, like, personally, I don't like the fact that everywhere he goes, I don't want anything I say to bite me in the ass, right? But he hasn't really shown leadership mentality. You know what I mean? Yes. Which we have.
I don't think we need that here.
We don't, and that's what I'm saying. Which we have. We have the leadership mentality.
So that's actually a reason why it would work. So
why it would work, right? Because where did it work? It worked in a place where there was a bunch of leadership there in Golden State.
Yep.
Nowhere else he played was that there.
Right.
There was no presence of leadership in Brooklyn. There's barely any presence in Phoenix.
Nope.
And in OKC, there was no leadership.
Nope.
You didn't know who the leader was.
Do you think Tibbs could handle?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let me tell you this.
You think he would respect Saves enough to go on
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that sounds like another reason why it would work.
This is the one thing, he's older now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You look at it like the squad where he had somebody like Russell Westbrook, why that didn't work. You look at like now they losing to Minnesota. It's sad over there. So what I've been hearing is that, we saw the interview where he was talking about how, his family wanted him to go to the Knicks as opposed to like Brooklyn.
Right.
Just imagine, right? Because who he'd be replacing in our roster would be Julius Randle anyway.
Right. It's the only way.
Right? So it's not like much would change. So just imagine Jalen Brunson, DiVincenzo, KD, Hartenstein, OG Anunoby.
So that is a championship roster.
Right. So now
I'm sorry, that's a championship roster.
Right. So now let's say, because now he doesn't have to be like him. And who are you double teaming now? You can't double team Jalen Brunson.
Nope.
You can't double team. Dude, it would be outrageous, right? And then who we have off the bench, like we wouldn't even have to do much.
Why did you bring this up, Rick?
I'm just saying, like we wouldn't have to do much, right?
It's a possibility.
My only concern, because all that shit he talked about the Knicks
not being cool.
He said they weren't cool at that time.
Yeah.
Which
so now you look like a chump coming when now
it's true. No, but it was true.
It was true. This is what I'm saying. I'm upset with Rick for bringing this up because now it's making me think like, yo, hold on.
It's a possibility.
That's what I'm saying. Like he would replace that, but so the things that have to happen. So I don't know. I feel like KD's soft, like on the defensive end of the ball. But that was the weak point of Julius Randle. You just be replacing him. He's just a better scorer.
I think he's a better defender.
Championship pedigree.
He's a better defender effort wise than Julius. He gives more. He gives more consistent defensive effort than Julius does. And I think that's the problem that I have with Julius is there's sometimes where it's not that he doesn't play defense, it's the effort. It's not that he can't, it's that he doesn't. Right. You know what I mean? It's like a conscious decision to not do it.
These niggas is happy.
What up? How you doing, Dante? First of all, don't get me started with you. I'm gonna shout you out in a second. So let me get to you in a second. But long story short, I don't want to start signing a petition for a KD trade, but the more you think about it, it's kind of a perfect fit.
That's all I'm saying. Look, I'm gonna leave.
Yo, we got like 8 first round picks. Go ahead, my bad.
That's what I'm saying. We have everything that would make it work. We know,
and we finished second.
Exactly.
We finished second.
And he appreciates the organization right now, so he'll come in with like all the chips can fall into place. I'm not saying that it will. I'm just saying that there isn't a reason to think that it's crazy. That's it.
How old is KD now?
I think he's 35. He's a little bit younger than me.
How old is Julius?
28.
I'm sticking with Julius.
Off that alone?
Just the age.
This is what I'm saying, Dre. Like, if you really break it down, like
he hasn't played the second half of the season. Postseason, he's
35.
having another surgery. Like, you're taking him? Listen, I'm not saying that. Let's get rid of Randle. When people were like, "Oh, I can't stand Randle. Hope we trade him," I was saying, "Nah, man. Like, I want Randle to be like, I like Randle with us right now. Like, he made the Knicks cool again. If I can borrow that phrase from KD. You don't mind, right? Like, he made the Knicks cool again. Like, people actually wanted to come here. So I'm not ready to ship him out just because he's hurt or there's a better option. Like, I'm just saying that there's possibilities out there that we can consider.
Dante is crazy, bro. Yeah, so all right. just to end this KD, where did it come from?
What, that it's a
Ricky
possibility?
started that shit.
Yes. Yeah. How did we start?
I just asked, what do you think about it? Because like I said, like when I first thought of it, I was like, nah. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, yo, it's a real possibility.
It's a real
You think like they're getting chased out of their series right now.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna want to go back there.
Personally, man. This is the other side of it. The other side of it is KD has shown that he likes to go where things are working out.
Yeah.
That is his.
See, that's the softness I mean about KD.
Right. That's the other part that I don't appreciate about him. But if you're talking about KD, the player,
don't care.
Right, but if he's here, if you got to get rid of Julius, let it be KD.
Let it be.
Because I don't see who else we like really giving away that Julius is like that we would fill in for, like, not that there's no one else, but for it to be a step up, for it to be something that works. If we're gonna lose picks,
an all-star for an all-star, like I just don't see why anybody would have a problem with it.
Yeah, I think it's a good fit because it answers all of the problems that we have on the offensive end. It doesn't allow you to double team. The ball doesn't stop with Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
He's unguardable. Like, there's no reason why him at the 4 spot doesn't work. It's a perfect fit.
And I could see Jalen and KD playing well together.
They would love playing with each other.
I
Absolutely.
I could see.
And you know,
it would be a wrap. Just think about it. Well, are the Boston Celtics better than the Knicks in the East if that one person? You kidding?
We had KD?
Yeah.
No.
The Knicks would be number one in the East. If we got number 2 in the East this year, down 5 or 6 games from the Nets, we dropped like 3, 4, 5, 6 games, that close games that we could have had if we had a healthy squad.
And then you add OG in there?
Yeah.
And OG stays?
Come on, man. Let's be real. We
got rid of all the slouches.
We're resigning OG, number 1. So Jalen and OG
staying.
Jalen and OG are going to be teammates for a long time. Josh Hart, OG.
Yeah, he's staying.
Josh Hart, OG, Dante, Jalen, all teammates for a long time. All you really got to do is add one more star to
the only other dude I would get is what's her name over there in Brooklyn that they're saying that they all played together out there.
Mikal Bridges.
If it wasn't Julius, but I don't know if I'm getting rid of Julius for that dude. Because we'll see. Is he a small forward? Is he considered a power forward?
No. He's a small forward. He's a small forward. Like,
right, he's a skinny dude. He's not like a dominant player.
I'm not real big on that move because it just clogs up our.
Yeah, it's not. It wouldn't work. KD would be. Are you kidding?
RBL says I can't respect KD. He just got his first lineup since his days in Texas.
Did he say I can't respect? He just got his first lineup. Well, yeah, he come back to New York, the real New York. He probably get a good lineup.
He probably get a good lineup every day. And I mean, actually, no, because when he was in here with Kyrie,
I think he was like hiding in Brooklyn when he was up here. I think he knew that shit wasn't right to begin with.
He also was here during the COVID era, and I wouldn't have been in nobody's barbershop.
That's true.
True. But at the end of the day, you get paid enough to get a haircut. Anyway,
I know.
Because these are all the reasons why I don't like KD, and how I'm voicing it now, it's silly as hell.
Yeah,
it's silly as hell. Robert Becker said in the offseason,
he's bugging.
Trade Julius and Mitch for KD and Booker. Nah,
I don't know why we would pick up both KD and Booker.
Well, for one, Phoenix wouldn't let that happen, and not for Julius and Mitch.
Exactly.
They definitely wouldn't take it.
What's the contract situation with KD? Why we even talk about why did he even come up?
I mean, KD. I mean, he just.
He would have to request a trade.
He'd have to request a trade just like most other guys.
If he ain't doing, I don't think he's doing it. But they about to lose in the first round.
Hold on.
The organization would love.
Hold, please.
What happened? What'd you find?
Okay.
I think he in the
he has
another year.
One more year left. He's definitely tradable.
What's another year?
He has one more year in his contract. Now, the only thing about it is he gets paid $53 million next year.
That would probably be
Who's this?
that would probably be
Kevin Durant.
Of course.
Which he earned.
I take Julius.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, because he's making how much less a year? 20 mil?
They pay RJ Barrett more than they pay Julius Randle.
Well,
they pay RJ Barrett 105. They gave Julius 100.
They did.
Well, he accepted less so that he can get a team around.
All right, keep him. You know what? Just for that, you're 28 years old. Stay here.
See, I say RBS said he's soft. If he can't handle Draymond, he can't handle.
That's true too, but that's what we talk about.
Well, the thing about it, there ain't no Draymond on this team. There's no Draymond on this team.
But they looking bad over there. They looking
bad over there. Draymond is Josh Hart, and like the guy on his show said, what did he say? He said, Josh Hart is just Draymond Green that got therapy or something like that, which is pretty funny because I mean, playing style wise, they're pretty much very similar players, just in terms of what they do at their size. Now, I mean, obviously Josh has a little bit more of a scoring touch to him than Draymond Green, but yeah, man, I don't know if KD handled New York well when it came to fans and all of that. I think that team just lacked leadership. You had a team with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. Like, who was the leader out of those three guys? Like, tell me which one of those guys you're looking to be the leader, who's the head of the horse. Like, I don't right now, and it's the same thing that I'm seeing in Phoenix. It's not that you guys are bad. It's just who is the leader? Who are you guys leading? Who are you guys following? I mean, like, who is the leader over there? I don't really see it. That's just me.
If I had to choose, I would say Kyrie, because Kyrie, he goes with whatever, like he's like, yo, this is what I believe. I'm rolling with it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He had the whole topic of the earth is flat come back up again in circulation just off of an interview. So I mean, like, but anyhow, that has nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah.
I had another question, but I think, yeah. This is my last question, and then we're done. But I don't know if it's just that I'm a Knicks fan, but from all the playoff game ones that I've watched, the Knicks game was like the most exciting one. I mean, like, of course you had teams that were like blowing out the other team. That's not exciting to me. Like, it's kind of boring.
It's a good matchup.
Yeah. Right.
But like, I'm watching the Knicks game. I'm like, yo, this is a game.
Yeah.
Knicks up, then they down, then they up. No, other way around.
Then
they down, then they went up, then they went down again, and then they closed it out. Like, that was a game.
Right.
Like, I watched the Bucks game tonight. I was just like, yo, what is this? Like,
what's going on? Right.
I fell asleep. I mean, they up 30. I'm like, come on.
Without Giannis.
Without Giannis.
Like, that's crazy. That's crazy to me.
Ridiculous.
But I mean, also,
they said that we would have trouble with the Pacers. I'm like, I don't understand where people get this nonsense.
I don't know if they just used to the old Knicks when we were there, but like, they don't know what they talking. They talking about old Knicks still. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, just looking at the Magic last night and how the Magic played.
Yeah, then they said we wouldn't be able to match up against.
We wouldn't be able to match up.
Nonsense.
Come on, man. Like, I mean, and even State shout out to State. State came on the show and said that we get
ancestors.
The ancestors will come on.
Why y'all let him talk like that?
No, bro. He said he had me crying. My man said, if Jonathan Isaac, he said the ancestors would come out of the grave. Nah, but the thing is that what I was trying to get through to State and saying was playoff experience matters.
It does.
It's really a thing. Half court offense matters. Being able to hit a 3-point shot in the playoff matters. Like, you have to do those things, and if you don't do those things, you're not gonna win. Yeah. And you saw how hard they were playing pretty good at certain points of the game last night, and they were still down big.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's just an experience. I saw that they were getting steals and going fast breaks and missing layups. Like, what is going on here? Like, this can't happen. And then what happens is, after one miss, morale down. After 2 misses, morale's down. By the 5th or 7th one, you kind of like start hoping that the shot goes in. And at that point, you already lost. Like the game is over at that point. So, you know what I mean? I think playoff experience matters. And I think that's why, you know what I mean, this team that we have here, not that we're not the deepest playoff team. Like we don't have the most postseason experience, but you have guys like Jalen who's been in crucial moments in the playoffs for the past 2 years now. Then you have guys like OG Anunoby who has a championship and has been in that situation before. This is Josh Hart's second playoff appearance. You know what I'm saying? Like he hasn't really done that, but could you tell? You know what I mean? You can't tell. You know what I mean? And that's just how he is. And Dante DiVincenzo, tons of playoff experience. He was on the Bucks during their final run. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was the only series he didn't really get to play. I think it was he missed a lot of games. So he was out for the year at a certain point. So he missed the actual title games. That's that series. But he's on that team, and this experience is being there and being in the locker room and seeing what it takes to get these guys to the next level. And I think that's what we have. I think they're going to continue to look for guys like that to add to the roster. You got guys like Bogey, another one, tons of playoff experience with Donovan Mitchell and hitting big shots and being there for big moments. It's guys that have been in these situations that when they get down, they don't panic. They just don't panic. That's why last night watching the game, and I could not panic. I'm like, all right, we'll be fine. Even when the game started and we were down like 10 points, I'm like, the first thing I said was basketball is a game of runs, bro. Yeah. That's it. It's a game of runs. We'll go on our run. We'll be fine. Yep. And that's what you have to count on going into the playoffs. And shout out to our coach, once again, who was not, by the way, selected for the nomination of being coach of the year, which is outrageous to me to not even be nominated after getting your team to 50 wins, second without having your all-star since February. I don't know. You know what I mean? But, it is what it is. It's a business. Shout out to our team. Keep adding more chips to these guys' shoulders like the NBA hasn't learned how to do yet. They keep doing it. But, that it is what it is. That's all I got. Tomorrow, Game 2 in the Garden, 7:30 p.m. Let's cheer on our Knicks. Let's be there for their support. They've been riding with us. Also, before I got out of here, I want to go ahead and shout out my guy, Dante King Rome's book. His book is Softer Than Randall and Mitch. As much trash as Dante likes to talk in here, he actually has converted behind the scenes to a Knicks fan. But we're not going to really go too deep into that. You know what I'm saying? Really? Yeah. Listen, man. I work my magic. I got a little wand. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing out here. Look. He's tight right now.
Don't say it. What happened? Now I gotta know what happened.
Look. He's a Knicks fan. He's an undercover Knicks fan. I said if the Knicks win a chip, he's gonna have to. Look.
Yo, please tell me what the fuck happened, bro.
You know what happened? And it's 2 words.
He watched the game.
No, Jalen Brunson.
All right, that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? And that's respect. That's respect to me. It's respect because that proves this is someone who does not like New York sports at all. He's never, and I've known Dante since high school. He's never liked New York sports. He takes pride in hating New York sports. He is a Philly fan, and that's it. He said, I am not Sixers, the Philadelphia Eagles. He's an Eagles fan, and that's it. But he just can't get enough of the Jalen Brunson madness, man. And he's been along for the ride. Behind the scenes, I told you if we win the chip, you're going to have to come to the parade. He said, I'm going to have to come with my Eagles jersey on. I said, all right, whatever. As long as you're there, you know what I mean? Whatever. You know, he said, Brunson is a trooper. Can't even lie to y'all. You know what I'm saying? He's out here watching Knicks podcast. Listen, it's all love, man. You have been converted.
Damn, Rose, you folded like a cheap suit. God damn, nigga. I thought you was going to be on the other side. Now look at you. One player.
One player. Now you're a Knicks.
Now you a Knicks fan? Yo, cut that nigga off, bro. Ill, man.
Yo,
Ill, yo.
listen, man, this just goes to look. He's like, he's like, you see,
Not for nothing. This is my thing, though. And you look, they said Jalen Brunson, I think he was the 4th leading scorer behind Shea, Luca. What's his name over there in the Nuggets?
no, and Giannis.
And Giannis.
Yeah.
Shea, Luca, and Giannis. He's the 4th leading scorer in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's in the running for MVP. I don't think he's gonna get it because they're gonna shit on him every chance he got. They got. But he's in the running for MVP. And they keep overlooking the Knicks. And you see, they shut them down last night. And what we did, we still pulled out.
Still won.
I think that dude is a game changer. And if they don't focus on him, what they doing? They got free reign to defend whoever. Like, we got shooters now. Like, and I think if the team stick with what they want from Tibbs, because if one of our big men go down, we still got Precious over there, and I don't believe in him much.
Right.
As the other ones, but you know, it's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. Jalen Brunson he's the truth. He's him.
Yeah. He's him. Man. Shout out to the chat. You're my guy Izzy, my guy Xavier, and Dante says JB is the best point guard in the league.
And on top of that, he don't get no calls.
He still don't get no calls. Still don't get no calls.
Jalen Brunson don't get no calls, bro.
I wouldn't say he doesn't get no calls,
bro.
I don't think he gets as much as he wants, but he gets
has
calls.
to sell his calls a lot. That's the only calls.
For whatever reason, it like they don't like this motherfucker. He don't get these calls that he don't get, bro.
They be bugging. They be bugging a lot of times.
What was that game where they bumped his whole body? He spun in the air and all that shit. I was like,
and then it's wild because they came out afterwards and said that that it wasn't a foul. But now I'm watching all of these games since then, and that same exact play, they're calling a foul. So I'm like, what is it? What's the deal here? Like, how is it? To me, there's no way you change the trajectory of how my body is in the air, and that's not.
And then not see that
like that, and then you gonna double down on it.
Yo, bro, that's outrageous. What they said after the game?
They basically said that it wasn't a foul. They said it was not a foul.
Bro, I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Xavier says, I see Jay-Z Jalil in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you see me, boy. We winning now, right now. We doing
it. But yeah, man, you know, let's just end this by saying that Jalen Brunson is special. The league is seeing it. Everybody, Philly seeing it firsthand, and they saw it all year. But the thing about it is, it's to me, it gives me the vibes of like, I'm not saying he's the next Steph Curry, no, but it's the ascension when Steph Curry was when he was just going up. He kept going up and kept going up, and it was to the point where like, can this guy really be that good? Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, can he?
You hear what
really...
Carmelo said about him?
What did he say?
He said Jalen Brunson is the point guard that I always wish I had. He said something along those lines. He said he could back him down in the post. I was just like, and I ain't really think about that because it ain't like Jalen Brunson. You can't compare him to a Kyrie. He got a completely or Steph Curry, as you saying that. You know what I mean? Like he's somewhere in between. He don't got like crazy handle, but you see he back him down.
Yeah,
he get in the paint. And he was like, yo, if I had a point guard like that, he felt like, I forgot what he said, but he felt like we could have did like a lot of good things, but he was the point guard. I don't know if that was disrespectful to any point guard he played with, like Raymond Felton.
That's immediately who I thought of because Raymond, he was like, "Yo, he's the best player."
Raymond
definitely said that he believed that Carmelo Anthony was the best scorer in history.
Yeah,
like
he's like who's better? He's like in history. Yeah,
he said in history. And a lot of those reasons is the same reasons why Brunson is so unstoppable. It's because he can score on all three levels. There's not a spot on the floor where you can leave Jalen Brunson open ever. And that's what makes him special is he's 6 foot and he's still doing it. And it's like he's a bull in that little ass body, bro. And it's to me, just what he brings offensively. And then he's not a slouch on the other end. He might be small, but he's not just letting you walk by. He's not a turnstile. You know what I mean? He's honestly getting in the passing lanes. He's honestly there. He's making the right decisions, making the right doubles, man. He's really not just
offensive player.
a offensive player. Like he has so many facets to his game. I can go on and on and on. Like I said, point being, he reminds me a lot of the ascension of Steph Curry when he was on his way up to being the guy he is now. And I'm not saying that Jalen Brunson is Steph Curry, but there is some sort of something cooking here where it's not just he's a star, like a James Harden was a star, or like, you know what I mean? It's something where it's sustainable and you'll be able to build around that. And hopefully we get to see a championship here soon. Dante said he'll be at the parade in the Eagles jersey. And yeah, Izzy did ask, he said, Dante, is you a Knicks fan yet? You missed it. You missed it. He's
just made that announcement. Yeah,
he's definitely jumped on the squad.
He converted. He wearing blue and orange tomorrow. Watch.
He got a blue and orange jersey under the Eagles jersey. It's a little hot. It's a little hot for him, but
like this. Blue and orange on under there, boy.
Xavier said, "Do you think this team reminds you of the Derrick Rose Bulls? A great point guard and a bunch of great role. Yeah, absolutely." Absolutely, and that's
Tibbs' type of team.
Thibodeau. Yeah, it's a Tom Thibodeau team. Like
this team is more talented than that team because they had bum ass what's his name? Joe Kim Noah.
Joe Kim Noah. Joe Kim Noah was a dope. He actually got MVP votes one year. Like he was a good player. It's just
he was a rugged defensive player.
You needed another scorer
to save his life, but yeah.
And the only other scorer that they had was
Luol Deng?
Nah, Carlos Boozer.
They ain't really had nobody.
Yeah, Carlos Boozer. You know what I'm saying?
Josh Gibson.
Yeah, they are going crazy on me in the chat. All right. Like I said,
what happened?
Nah, man, they killing me because they ain't been on the show, man. Like, yo, like, come on, bro. Like I told y'all, I'm gonna do the fan show. I haven't set the date yet. I got y'all. Like they in the chat talking about like, yo, I need Regular Joe's number. Yo, let's make our own channel. You know what I'm saying? We can call it Guard Down Knicks. Like y'all really going crazy. Like y'all really going crazy on me right now. And it's all good. It's love. Look. We can call it Force
Knicks left.
I'm done.
We ain't got the.
Hold on. In your defense, though, we definitely had a show where we were like, yo, if you want to be on, just let me know, right? And only one person came on.
Only one person came on. That's it. I put the link in the chat.
That's not on you.
Listen, all right. So what I would do going forward, this, and I'm gonna be honest, and hold me to this when you see me go live. I will start putting the link to come on the show in the chat, and that goes for you too, Xavier. If you guys ever, and look, I was never invited. Oh my gosh, bro. First of all, Laker fan, sir. I didn't.
Yo, ignore all the Laker fans. Ignore
Laker fans.
Anyway,
you can't be asking for no invitations if your team didn't win.
Yeah, and they're not gonna win. They're not gonna win.
Yeah, let me not do that to you, bro. I'm messing with you, bro. I'm messing with you.
I don't hear nothing from no Laker fans.
Like I said, what I'm gonna do next show, and from now on, I will be putting the link in the chat. So if y'all want to come up, say a couple words, I'll give y'all a couple minutes. We could chat it up real quick, and then we move on to the next person. And we could do that every show, as often as y'all want. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know Dante is gonna have a lot of shit to say. I'm about to get some birthday. Oh, that's right. Hold on, the 22nd. Oh, shout out to you, bro. Happy birthday, Dante. You know, welcome to the Knicks family. Welcome to the Knicks family on your 36th birthday.
Welcome,
you know
King Rones.
Shout out to you, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Happy birthday, my guy. Happy birthday. But listen, as I like to say, man, I thank y'all for coming out. If you're still here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe over on YouTube, because I know a lot of people are watching on Twitter. While you're still here, jump over to YouTube real quick, follow us, like us, give us a subscribe. It doesn't really cost too much, you know what I mean? That's really all we ask you for. But thank y'all for tuning in. Once again, we will see you guys. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. We'll see us as a team here. We will see you guys next Sunday, hopefully. Saturday, Sunday, depending on the day. Actually, I won't be here next Saturday and Sunday. I forgot. I will be in New Orleans. My bad. Apologize, but we will figure it out. We'll work something out for y'all so that we can get something going. But this Wednesday, catch us over at the Morning Brew Sports. I'll be on there with my guys, Phil, Eru, and Bully on our Wednesday night show. Bring a drink, grab a glass, bring a drink. 10:30 we'll be there. And until then, y'all have a good one. Y'all be good. Dre, Rick, love y'all. I'll see y'all soon. Until next time, y'all have a good one. Thank you for the chat for tuning in, y'all. Y'all have a good one, y'all. Dre got a jump shot the brick for y'all. There you go. All right, y'all. Holla at y'all. Much love. Peace.